Hey, my name's Mark. I'm the owner of Tower Systems. We've got Justin here, who's one of our sales guys for our software. Justin, you've just sold the software to a sewing business. What sort of sewing business is it?
Yeah, so basically they sell a lot of fabrics. So they're unique in the way is, they're not selling whole products. They're selling things at, fractions, and not just halves and not just quarters, any sort of
Fabric by measure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And also too, they sell sewing machines. So because they sell sewing machines, they do a lot of the servicing and repairs themselves as well. So they'll need a workshop module for that handles that. So yeah, a couple of things and a couple of things in the point of sale as well, which are handy as well.
So you found that in our software, the fact that we handle fractions was useful for them.
Yep.
The fact that we can handle the repair side of what they sell with the sewing machines. I guess even if they wanted to track, say, serial numbers of sewing machines, they could do that within the software too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So you can do that from all the way from arrival to sale as well. So just with warranty purposes and things like that, it helps a great deal.
And has this business got a website?
They do, but it's not e-commerce, I don't think, or it's not currently connected to our POS software. So,
but within the software that you've sold them, they could easily feed, fabric information and sewing machine information across to a Shopify site, for example, if they decided to go down that road.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was their main contributing factor for future. I think they're going to want to. I'm pretty sure their site is Wix or something at the moment, but they're looking at getting something like Shopify and connecting the two because obviously saves a lot of time on their end.
It's really interesting because we historically haven't pitched ourselves as being a software company that develops and sells software for sewing businesses and fabric businesses. But the reality is, with some of the things we've got in the software, we're a perfect fit for what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'll get into some now if you'd like.
Definitely. Take us in there.
Cool. So first of all, this is the screen they'll see. So this is what we call the main screen. This can be customized depending on the functionality you use. So you can choose to hide a lot of these facilities if you don't use them all. Just
to be clear, I've got control over everything that I'm seeing there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, correct. And that customization does flow across into the point of sale as well. So you'll see here I've got my buttons along the right-hand side, but if I want along the bottom, I can. Same as the left or along the top. So a couple of things. First of all, you can have images assist you in the point of sale. So this is a particular sewing machine. This is popping up with an image just so I know I'm selling the correct one.
Yep.
When I actually select it, you can have text come down the bottom here. So this is purely for the salesperson to either relay a message on to the customer or purely for their own sake. So there might be a box for this particular sewing machine in a particular part of the business.
Yep.
And that way they're not spending half an hour trying to look for that. In this case, it's just telling the customer this comes with a free carry case as well.
So just to be clear, the retailer can control that information that appears on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Upsell guidance.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and it's not automated. If you want to automate, any upsell opportunity, you'll see here I can click on this fabric. So at the moment, I've just got 1 meter at 75 cents a meter. But you'll see here another message pops up down the bottom, and it's telling me, hey, if this customer buys 10 or more meters, they get 5% off that price.
Now, just to sorry for jumping in there, but so that message appears on the sales screen so the salesperson can, hey, pitch that to the customer. But then if the customer then goes and buys the 10 meters, the software automatically applies the discount?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'll just change this quantity to 10 meters. And you'll see here that automates the discount down the bottom. That's helpful.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. And as I said before, you don't have to sell it in halves and quarters. You can sell, 10.2 meters of it, and the system will absolutely calculate that price as well.
That's a big deal because, let's not name any other software. It's not our job to do that. But certainly it's common that we see other point of sale software applications that don't do that fraction.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And it becomes really, troublesome. It might not sound like a big deal, but a lot of people, want that feature in there. They don't want to be able to sell it at halves and stop at that. So it's a really good feature.
So when you were talking to the business, what else was interesting to them when you were showing them the software, particularly from a sewing business perspective?
Yeah, so look, when I sell this particular machine, you can have, we showed the companion text before, and that's purely for the salesperson to relay a message. But you can also have it print on the customer receipt or the invoice. So any additional information you want to pass on. So with, sewing machines, any warranty information, how to best care for that sewing machine, how to best clean it, how to best service it yourself if you don't want to bring it back into the store. But also to any product knowledge that you want to pass on as well. You don't have to have it for absolutely every stock item that you sell. Yeah. But any additional information you do have against items, the system will just automate that. And that way it creates that consistency, with product knowledge across your staff. So, you as the owner might, know a lot about the store, and you can, automate that knowledge across multiple items, and your staff don't even have to remember what to say.
So a couple of things there about this receipt. So what you're saying to me is, as a small business owner, I can take my intellectual property, which, I've built up over the years, for about particular products, and I can share that intellectual property on the receipts automatically, which is great because that's a differentiator. But secondly, looking at the receipt that you've got on the screen here, it says here unusual gifts and unique jewelry. Now that's obviously just a sample receipt from somebody else, but I'm assuming as a retailer, I can control all of what's on that receipt, the detail. I can change the text. And also, in addition to the information you've described, I can really make this receipt my own. I can put my own logo on there. I can do all sorts of things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then down the bottom here as well, this is a form of loyalty. So, because I'm a store that offers, services, and in particular repairs, this is essentially a percentage of the sale, which you'll see here that I've actually worded it. So it's a discount off their next servicing. So if they want to bring their sewing machine back in, they'll get $16 off their next service. You can have it, across multiple items or across every item in store. It doesn't have to be particularly around the servicing. But, you as a store owner, where, you make the money mostly in servicing and repairs. So it's just a good way of bringing your customers back and essentially getting that service.
Right. So I'm turning the receipt into a marketing tool to get that add-on servicing business because, what we know in retail is that the more contact you have with a customer, like in a servicing situation, the more upsell opportunities you've got within the business too.
Well, that's it. And just on that, you'll see I didn't assign this sale to any particular customer, but underneath the wording here, it says W a voucher amount and become a VIP member today. So it's just a really handy tool because, this day and age, no one really wants to hand over, details. So enticing them with, vouchers and bigger rewards, most of the time they're probably going to give you a mobile number and email address. And then obviously you can use it for marketing purposes down the track.
Right. So I know a bit about the software, and I know that this voucher you've got on the bottom of the receipt, our support guys can guide a customer on setting that up in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very quick. Very easy. Okay. Because we don't want to sort of go on for too long here. What else would you have shown a sewing business that you think is pretty good in the software that is pertinent to what they're doing?
Yeah, look, we touched on the servicing and repairs. So within the software, it's got full workshop capabilities. So that meaning basically we can fully track, what was carried out in the service. When that service is completed, we can notify the customer automatically by, text message or email as well. And it just basically allows you to manage it. So you can put in before and after images. So if there's a crack or something in the machine, you can't get blamed for it. Any stock use, so if you go out and grab something off the shelf and use that in the service or the repair, if you replace a part in it or whatever it might be, you can add that in and that will automatically add it to the retail price of the repair.
So on that, I'm tracking the inventory I'm using, I'm tracking my time, and when the job's done, I'm letting the customer know by text or email that the job's done and ready for them to come pick up.
Exactly, yeah. So adding a repair, you just put in all these details here. You don't need absolutely everything. But this screen here is really handy. So basically, I can actually link, in this case, a sewing machine. I can link it to a particular customer. So that way I've got all the service history of that particular item. And when I go select stock, I can go customer stock item, and that's going to find anything that's been serviced from that particular customer before. Otherwise, I can just link it to a generic sewing machine, and that will bring all my additional information down. And this is customizable as well. So if you want to put in more additional information, you can absolutely put those fields in.
Now, it's fair to say that this repairs part of our software has come out of the work that we've done for years now with bike retailers, as well as with jewelers. Both of those businesses have substantial repairs and repairs management requirements. And we've got all of that, and that's in this software that you would be pitching to a sewing business as well.
Well, that's it. And I mean, not many sewing businesses really care about, what we do for other industries. But, as you touched on, there's a lot of features that cross over into other industries, and other industries really benefit from it.
Okay. Anything else that you would show, just in a quick overview, sewing related businesses?
Yeah, look, a couple of things. First of all, special orders. So another big one. So basically, when I do a stock inquiry, let's just bring up the sewing machine here. So if straight away I can see information about this item. Straight away I can see that I've got none of these on hand. So if I go order this item, I can order it in for the particular customer. And again, when I create a purchase order for that supplier, when that order arrives, we can automate a notification to the customer that their orders have arrived in stock.
Yep.
Another quick thing is gift hampers. So really handy way to a couple of things, I guess. First of all, increase basket size. So, you can group stock items together, and, selling it as a pack so at the moment I've got a sewing starter pack. I've got a sewing machine and a couple of meters of thread in there. You can obviously add, different components to it. But basically it allows you to either get rid of slow moving stock, so you can group it together and sell it as packs. And in this case, I'm selling it as a starter pack. So if someone's coming into the store for the first time, they want to get into sewing, instead of selling individual items, I can create packs and sell it that way. And that keeps track of each individual stock information as well.
Excellent. Okay, so we're keeping this video brief because we don't want to sort of bore people too much. But the reality is the software does a lot more than just this.
Yeah, absolutely.
It helps people market their businesses. It helps people keep track of their stock, helps them with accurate selling. Even with the sewing machine you were talking about there, we integrate with buy now, pay later. So people in that situation could buy the sewing machine, leave the store with it today, but pay it off over time through Hum or Zip or something like that.
Yeah.
We've got those integrations already. Plus we integrate with Tyro for very fast FPOS transaction.
Yeah.
So in terms of looking at the software further, if a sewing or fabric business wants to look at the software, you're happy to demonstrate to them as often as they want and in as much detail as they want.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you touched on, what I've shown is probably about 15 or 20% of the software. So obviously every store is different. They're not going to need certain functionality, and they're going to need other functionality that you probably haven't seen already. So yeah, we like to have a conversation with you, see exactly what you want out of the software. And then we'll tailor the demonstration, around exactly what you need.
Okay. I would sort of round it out by saying that we're an Australian software company. Everything that Justin is showing you here with the software is developed by us. It's our product. We create it. We've got about 3,500 small business customers around Australia. Our support is local. We have most of our help desk team are based here in Melbourne. We also have a help desk team person who works out of Christchurch in New Zealand. A guy called Travis, he's moved over there. One of our developers is based in Auckland, but he's an Aussie who's just moved over there because of what his wife does for work. And so we are absolutely local. We're creating local software for the Australian and the New Zealand marketplace. We've got about 120 customers in New Zealand. And that means that buying from us means you're buying software or renting software from an Aussie business that's creating Aussie jobs, which we think is important. The other thing is we only sell to small businesses. We don't sell to mass retailers, which is very important to us to focus on small business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, if you want to unshare your screen, we might wrap up. From a more of a personal perspective, you've been selling our software for a few years, but you came to us through an interesting route. You grew up in retail, you worked in retail, you managed retail, then you joined our help desk. You were helping to train people and install the software, and now you're in a sales role. And that's typical for each of our salespeople to have people who themselves aren't professional salespeople in the sense that you've come from a good retail and technical background, which personally, as the owner of the company, I think that's more important that you have that background.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of our customers don't want to talk to, traditional geeks. So even the people on the support team as well, they've got that retail background as well. So when they call up about a software related question, they're also going to get a question about, general retail as well as how to fix a problem or, how to show them to do something in the software. So yeah, I think it's very important. And as you touched on, most of the people in the support team have come through that route as well. Yeah. So, not only are you getting a geek, but you're getting a person that you can have a real conversation with as well.
A knowledgeable geek.
Exactly, yeah, knowledgeable geek.
Okay, well, look, thank you. And I would hope we get to talk to many more sewing and fabric businesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you for sharing the insights today, and we'll catch up soon.
No worries. Thanks.